So no doubt you are getting excited about Turning Point coming up closer and closer. And if you haven't already registered for it, please do so. I was speaking with a lady who attended the program a while ago, and she was having a bit of a chat to me about how she felt before actually deciding to come along to the course. Now, what this lady wanted to do was she wanted to have a better life. And I know that everybody out there is always looking to have a better life in some way, shape, or form. The difference is that she wanted to do it quite rapidly. She was trying to work out a way of quickly getting the results that she most wanted in life because she was currently in a job that sort of paid the bills for her. But like many people out there, she was not fully satisfied with the job. She wasn't fulfilled in her career. And she definitely wasn't waking up inspired, which is a big epidemic that we have around the world. And because of that, she tried many things. You know, she'd gone and studied some different healing arts. She'd gone and learned some different coaching methodologies, some different practices. And she tried numerous different jobs, but she was really quite stuck. She didn't really know what she wanted to do. She didn't know which way to turn. She didn't know what she was meant to do in life. She was unsure about everything. She was doubting herself, and I'm sure you probably can't relate to anything that I'm saying. But the fact is, people really do struggle to know exactly with crystal clear clarity what it is they're meant to be dedicating their life to, or what a lot of people call their purpose. And obviously Turning Point is something that is designed to assist you with that, to rapidly find what that is that's meaningful to you. But here's what I explained to this lady that I think might benefit you as well, because it gave her some clearer distinctions around understanding why is it that quite often we set goals all the time. We start our year with this incredible shopping list of all the things we want to get done. However, at the end of the 12 months, nothing has actually been achieved. And like her, maybe you are also a little bit confused or curious about why does that happen? Why do we always set these goals, and why do we often never follow through with what we say we're going to do? And the answer is actually what we call alignment. Alignment between your head, your heart, and your hand, or your thoughts, your feelings, and your body. And alignment really is a critical piece of information that most people need to learn in order to become more successful in what they're doing. So I want to give you a little bit of a breakdown about how alignment really works, and I'm going to use it by referencing parts of the brain stem. Now, if you don't understand what the brain stem does, the brain stem is inside your body somewhere. It's a part of what makes up who you are, and it's part of where functions of your brain are stored and kept and layered on top of the other. And basically, if we understand little bits about the brain, we can start to understand how do we actually make sure that we're taking the right action. Because at the end of the day, it's got nothing to do with the goals we set. It's got nothing to do with the dreams that we have or how far we want to go. It's do we actually take the relevant action that results in the things we want? As in, can we get our head, our heart, and our hand working in unison so when we take the actions, we're able to progress consistently towards what it is that we want. Now, there are 3 core roadblocks that you're going to face when you want to go out there and get alignment between your head, heart, and hand. And each one of them has relevance to different parts of the brain. So the very first roadblock that you're going to come up against is what we call the hindbrain, or the reptilian brain, or what's been labeled as the croc brain. And this brain has a very specific process. What it does is it filters out information based on a series of 7 core ideas. So as you're working out with your goals and trying to work out what it is you want to do or what it is you want to achieve, the very first thing you do is you filter your goals through a filtering system. So if you imagine that there's something that you would absolutely love to do, and you want to get that all the way up into where you say yes and where you start taking action, you've got to move that goal through 3 distinctive phases. So the very first one is a filtering system. And this filtering system is basically 7 core filters that sort of filter through the information that you have to get through in order for you to take the right action. I'll explain what each of these filters are. The first one is fear. Is there any fear around what it is that you're wanting to achieve in life? So if you write down a goal and that goal has some type of fear associated with it, you have to work out ways in which to rectify that. The second one is doubt. Is there any doubt in your mind about your ability to achieve the goal or your ability to actually start the goal to begin with? The third one is danger. Is the goal in any way, shape, or form dangerous to your survival? The next one is uncertainty. Do you have any uncertainty about how the goal works, the types of things you're meant to be doing? The next one is complication. Do you deem this goal to be a complicated activity? The next one is suspicion. Is there anything about this goal that you want to achieve suspicious in any way, shape, or form? And the last one is boredom. Is this goal in its achievement going to be deemed to be boring. Now, these are the 7 core things that the reptilian function of your brain filters for. If it gets a strike on any of those 7 things, it'll freeze up the system and prevent you from taking action. So in order to get through what we call checkpoint 1, the most important thing to remember is to remove your fears, clarify any doubt, make sure there's no danger, no uncertainty, no complication, make sure there's no suspicion about what you're doing, make sure it's not boring in any way, shape or form. And if you are able to do that with your goals, you'll be able to move through to the next checkpoint. If any of those things get stuck, however, as I mentioned, you will sort of freeze up. The second thing we've got to get through once we get through the first layer is to get through our emotional start of our mind. See, this part of our brain is known as the instinctual part of our brain. So they label this thing as an instinctual in nature. It's being triggered by your instincts. The second part of your brain, though, is emotional in nature. And they class this as your emotional state. So how do you feel about things? So, with your goals, one of the most critical things you can start to do is imagine your goals every night. Now, I know you've probably heard this before. It's not rocket science what I'm teaching you. However, it is important to know the correct order and sequence to do these things in. First, remove any of these filters that get stuck, and then second, begin the process of imagining. The beautiful thing about imagining your goals means you start to feel the feelings associated with those goals. And the more you imagine the goals, the more you start to line up the way that you feel around the achievement of those goals. A lot of the reasons people don't go out there and create the goals they want in life is because they don't have any reference point for how they will feel once that goal is completed. And because they don't have a reference point for how they're meant to feel when the goal is completed, they then deem that to be outside of their comfort zone and potentially dangerous, which shoots them back down into checkpoint 1 and stops them from moving forward. So the second big thing you want to do here is you want to work with your emotional state. And what I mean by that is you want to be able to visualize your goals on a regular basis. And we've got processes that we're going to teach you at Turning Point, the processes that are actually used by Olympians. A very specific, structured, step-by-step technique that allows you to imagine with the same level of intensity, the same level of clarity, and more importantly, the same level of success that world-class performing athletes utilize. So the thing here is where you get used to the emotions, you get used to the vibration of the feeling of things, so it's inside your comfort zone, therefore meaning you take more conscious action in accordance with that, instead of reacting to life. Now, if you're able to get through those first 2 checkpoints, good news is you now move into the rational part of the mind. So the rational part of the mind is all about processing rational information. It's about processing logic. It's about processing language, willpower, discernment, these kind of things. And in this part of the brain, this is where we really start to look at why whatever it is that you're doing is important to the other areas of your life. And this is where something known as values can come quite strongly into play. In this part of goal setting, you've got to make sure that your goals link up to that which is most important in your life. I'll give you an example. Let's just say you wanted to create some extra wealth in your life, and I know everybody is interested at some point of having some level of mastery over this thing they call wealth creation. And so say you want to build up some more money, but unfortunately your highest value is family. So if you've got an hour spare and you've got 2 options in front of you, one is to learn about how to build wealth and the other one is to spend time with your family. Well, if family happens to be your highest value, I'm here to tell you that hour is going to be allocated to spending time with your family. And in doing so, it means you won't actually have any time to take action in accordance with wealth creation. So in this section of your mind, what you're looking to do here is link up the areas of your goals to the things that are important. And in doing so, engaging the rational parts of your mind. So here is where we really start to understand at a deep level what we like to call the values track. And the values track is basically a combination of things that you deem to be important at any given time. And it's kind of 5 core categories in which we prioritize things that are important to us. The first one is the kind of topics that we're interested in. So the books that we read, the conversations that we have. The second one is the kind of results we want to get. So do we want to make money, be healthy, have great relationships? The next one is the kind of actions that we love taking. Do you like playing the piano? Do you like riding bikes? Do you like speaking from a platform? The next one is what we call character traits, the kind of things that we value in other people. Do we value that they're humble, that they're compassionate, that they're friendly, that they're funny? And the last one is what I call kinesthetic experiences, as in the types of feelings we like to feel at any given time. So in this section, what we want to do is we want to make sure that what's most important to us is linking to the things that we want to create in our life. So if you do want to create wealth, for example, and your highest value is family, you might start asking yourself, how does creating ever greater levels of wealth allow me to spend more time with my family? And just by answering that question, you'll start to link up the parts of your mind and allow yourself to get through checkpoint 3. If you can get through all 3 of these checkpoints, you will end up in Yes Town. And this is basically where you say yes to yourself, you say yes to your goals, you say yes to taking action, and you say yes to having a life of fulfillment, of meaning, and enjoying the time that you get to spend with others because you're experiencing more of yourself in an empowered way. Anyway, that's just a small snippet of some of the content we're going to be sharing at the Turning Point Intensive. I look forward to seeing you at the program. As I said, if you haven't registered yet, make sure you please do come along. We're going to be sharing stuff like this and plenty more information that allow you to take full control of your own psychology and become the master of your own destiny. So I look forward to seeing you at the program. I hope you got a little bit of value out of this. Make sure you put it into action. And until we meet again, share your light, live your love, and do whatever it takes to be your own best friend. I'll see you soon.